friends.
Yeah, it's Footy and Frothies, Barney and Dags, so the old best friends together.
Best friends.
It's a beautiful thing. I'm cry if I keep thinking about it. So I'm going to move on, and we're going to talk about the preview show. We've got stuff to, something to talk about. We've got to preview round 5.
We do.
Of what has been the closest competition since 1908, we're told.
Well, there we go.
And mad crowds, mad ratings, all the good stuff's going on. Footy's thriving at the moment. So look forward to all of that, Barney.
How good have the Dolphins been, realistically? Like, most of the clubs didn't want it. Everyone was like, oh, we don't need another team in Brisbane, and they've just slotted in. Nice coach Bennett's got them up and going, and they're causing problems for just about everyone they play.
So they're going to railroad an 18th team at some point, I think 2025. Didn't expect to go down this path, but what are the key ingredients to have that at least do the same or be up and about?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I'd like to see another team in New Zealand or possibly Perth, but how you do that logistically and how you're going to need to ship at least 3/4 of a team in, just like the Dolphins have done, and get some class involved. And I think being so far away, that makes it it just makes it so much more difficult to try and get people to relocate to either New Zealand or Perth, which would probably be the preferred options, I would imagine, for the NRL.
And PNG or Pacificas.
Yeah, and it's just, it drags the talent and having to move your family so much further away from everything else. And
if you're going to do
the logistics of it all.
I didn't know this, but if you're going to do a Pacifica team or a PNG team, surely you just base them out of
North Queensland or
Cairns or I don't know. I'm not I failed geography, so somewhere up there, and just ship them all in, get the Australian players up there, and meet halfway, and get your Kyle Laybutts or whoever it might be to get on board. Go and do
all the
that
noise
way.
out of the Queensland Rugby League is to relocate a Sydney team over to Perth, and because that's they obviously want less teams in Sydney, or to even put another team into Queensland.
Another team in Queensland wouldn't upset, but I don't know what Rocky or somewhere. I don't know what you
Central.
Unless you go, but once you get out there, is it like what is it? It's just hot and it's
Central Queensland. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I dare say it'd have to be a little bit inside the coast somewhere.
Unless I would rather see an actual crack at like a Central Coast or a North Coast team before that.
But they all complain about the congestion in the Sydney market with 9, 10
but
teams.
Like Gosford Stadium's a nice enough ground, whatever it's called now, Gosford. Nice enough ground. It should be a viable area. There's a strong Central Coast competition, I believe. Someone will tell me I'm wrong, but
or Sydney have the structures.
Or you move St George right back down to Illawarra, given how the nursery is down there.
But that's just shipping one team. That's just moving one team. That's not adding another team.
No, but if they want to relieve the congestion. But fucking hell, you go to Melbourne and you get on a tram and you see 7 AFL teams in 10 minutes. So seriously, if you get on a tram out to St Kilda, you see all of them.
I think Central Coast or North Coast, New South Wales is probably the most feasible option and probably the team that would be more set up for success than anyone else. You now probably do have to bring the Bears into it, to be honest, because the
key to the Dolphins' success, if they've existed forever and have an existing fan base. Yeah. And I think that's where the Bears have the best.
Maybe not even the existing fan base, but there is a club and a management structure in there, and there's still people that have been there for however long trying to get something off the
Redcliffe
ground.
had a pre-existing fan base, and the Bears do. And there'll be all these people come out and will work so we used to follow the Bears.
Okay, we'll go follow the Central Coast Bears or the North Coast Bears.
Well, it has to be tied in there somewhere. Within Sydney, North Sydney, yes, is out of the way. Do you get North Sydney over? Probably not. You probably have to play it.
They've been playing games out of, Coffs Harbour and Port Macquarie recently, which probably wouldn't be a bad option for a team to set up there. They're halfway between the Sydney-based teams and
we
Brisbane.
said we were going to go up there, didn't we? And we drove through it. But if that's a state-of-the-art stadium at Coffs, why not? Why not?
I think that's probably the most feasible option. I think the NRL would prefer either New Zealand or Western Australia, but we'll see where it goes to.
What is there in Western Australia?
A new time slot, realistically. That's about all.
And then your team has to play. Your team has to play at
3 o'clock Western Australia time. Yeah.
So you
want midday.
Or midday here, or 9:30.
Midday there.
Midday here.
3 o'clock.
You're only playing 2 time slots. Yeah, let's just I'd rather attack New Zealand or look.
Well, they get the midday 3 and probably 5:30, which would equate to an 8:30 game over here. So.
Well, they're going to be. It fills your Super Saturday up nicely. Well, the other time slot that ends up, I suppose, Monday night or 2 o'clock Sunday.
Actually, it'd be Saturday, Sunday would be where
it
would
would
be.
It'd be 3.
It'd be 1 o'clock on the Sunday or the midday or 3 o'clock Saturday.
Yeah, I still think Central North Coast is there. But I think the Bears have to be involved now because the proven success of Redcliffe is the existing fan base.
And at least you'd have some sort of management structure that are willing to jump straight in at the start and start doing the groundwork, the admin stuff that needs to be done before you can even put a jersey out, before you can even put a name out.
Yeah. You can go on, if it's coming, you can spend 12 months marketing
people that are willing to work behind the scenes before you even start.
They're there. The guys have done hard work. I can't think of the names.
David
Fairley and
Lawson,
Gary
Larson.
Yeah. So they're and I would like to see that back. How that then works, I don't know. But I don't think Perth's the answer. I think either North or somewhere in between is better. Anyway, that's 6.5 minutes. I didn't expect we were going to go down, but here we are. We're talking preview show again.
Round 5.
Round 5 coming up. We touched on Supercoach earlier. We're better off. I think for both of our heads, we're better off doing our preview then coming back to Supercoach.
Sure.
Because we might. Or mention them as we go. So that exists. Go and play Supercoach if you enjoy it. PCGC, rugbyleaguemerch.com, and here we are. We're going to talk about round 5.
Tip Rugby League if you enjoy making your weekends a misery.
Yeah, watch it. So it's on TV on KO and Rugby.
Good luck tipping more than 4 every week.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What have we got here? We're going to kick it off on Thursday. No other news. We've talked all the injuries.
We've done the whole thing, mate.
Let's punch through this and these poor listeners go. All right, round 5 kicks off Thursday night at Allianz with the Roosters hosting Parramatta. Joey Manu is banned, so Drew Hutchinson comes into the centres. Corey Allen's on the interchange at the moment. And Nafahu White is also on the bench. So the bench is Turpin, White, Allen and Baker. Para are pretty much unchanged, bar the fact they've lost their captain and front rower and key pillar, Junior Barlow, who will miss 2 games after his high tackle. Greg does start for them, which brings Jack Murchie back into the bench. Dory keeps a bench spot, as does Brendan Hands, which is cool. As we kick off Thursday night, Barn, what are you thinking here?
Roosters off the bye. Parramatta after a very gruelling game of footy. I know it was still 7 days, or it was 7 days before, but it still has to take a toll realistically. I'm giving the Roosters the edge in this game just due to the fact that Parramatta had to play for 80 plus minutes and had to play really well for those 80 plus minutes last Thursday. So I can see them being a shade off their best. Junior Barlow is a massive out for them in the middle of the field, and I think that the Roosters may just get the edge through the middle with your Radleys and Warrior Hargraves, Collins and the like. And I think they'll win this game 1-12. I'm actually going to go man of the match, Nat Butcher. I don't think he's had an impact this year like he had done at the back end of last year, and I'm expecting him to have a really big game. I think he may score a try or two and set one up as well. So going to have him man of the match, and I'm going to have Joseph Sawali as first try scorer for the Roosters.
I agree. I think Barlow out's massive. I'm still going 1-12 because I think the effort's still going to be there from Para, and as it has been, they've just been unfortunate through other circumstances not to be more than 1-4 or 1-5 so far. I'm going to say Jared Warrior-Hargraves, man of the match. Made a statement last week. He's now named to start. I assume they're going to stick with it because there's no other back. He's going to play some minutes here because I think the Butchers went up in the middle because there's not a lot of other front row firepower on the bench there. So I think he will be...
I wouldn't be surprised if Allen starts and Hutchinson plays a bit of time at hooker, to be honest, and Cheese goes
they've
back
got
into the
Turpin
back
on
row.
the bench, but yeah, Cheese will play bowling ball Cheese here by necessity and especially through the middle. So you're right there. So Jared man of the match, first try scorer. I'm going to stick to my guns here and name the winger, which is Tupou. He may well walk over either untouched or just catching a lazy bomber without a finger
The
in
left-hand winger.
There he is.
There it is.
All right, the next game is down at GOA Stadium. The Raiders host the reigning premiers, the Panthers. Rapana's back for the Raiders with Schiller going out. Fogarty's back as well, so massive ins for the Raiders. And Whiten's out for all he moves to 5'8" instead. Jared Croker on the extended bench. Penrith, Luke Garner gone as Hoskins is named to start at 12. Sorensen named to start at 11. Tyrone Peachy, 14. Lindsay Smith, 15. Lenu and Jamin Semen, the bench there.
What's happened to Martin?
What's that?
What's happened to Liam Martin?
He must be fucked up.
Must be.
I thought he was out for a week. Was
it a concussion?
I thought it was HIA.
Yeah, okay.
He mustn't have come good. So maybe they're just happy to arrest him. So Leota, Kenny, Fisher Harris, Sorensen, Hosking, Yo in the bench, Peachy, Smith, Lenu, Salmon. Yeah, there's a bit less firepower than I'd hoped from. Extended bench is Eisenhuth, Cogger. Yeah, they're not named at all. So
I think that shirt that we put out 2 weeks ago with the Dragons win this, you're going to reevaluate your life.
No? Can you say it? So
I think we may just have to put the Raiders in there. If the Raiders score more than 2 tries in this match, I may have to reevaluate my life.
There it is, Scotty. It'll be green. Yeah.
Because I can't see them scoring more than 2 tries in this match, and I expect Penrith to score. From the defence I saw against Newcastle last week, I'd be surprised if Penrith don't put over 30 points.
They're in for a treat.
You may see Taruva double up, Crichton just playing games with Harley Smith-Shields out on the right-hand side.
If you're holding Taruva or Tuo and you're umming and ahhing, it's the week.
Put him in your team.
Yeah.
Panthers 13+. I think man of the match may be... I'm going with Isaiah Yo. I think he'll cause a whole heap of problems, especially on that right edge, playing just outside of Nathan Cleary there and linking up with the likes of Crichton and the back rower on the right-hand side there in Sorensen and just causing Harley Shields and Fogarty all sorts of problems on that right-hand edge.
Sorensen the right player to be in this game? Just footwork, in and around.
But I am going to go first try scorer down the left-hand side, but I'm going to go with Targo because he doesn't like to pass the ball to Taruva, and I'll go with him to score the first try.
I actually expect most of this starting Penrith team to play a lot of minutes because their bench isn't
fantastic. No, it's not, is it?
Yeah, Penrith will win. Let's go 13+. Let's stamp this. Man of the match, Nathan Cleary. I think he'll get enough time and space to make everyone look. He'll have 7 try assists and everything else in between.
So maybe make him captain this week instead of Nico.
Well, well, now you've upset me.
Oof.
Certainly given I've just cleared the decks to buy Nico, but yes, he's in the game this week. This is a fill up for Penrith. First try scorer. Let's go with Crichton, just because he's 2 from 4, so he'll be up there, palming off Harley Shield-Smiths. We get to the end, and it'd be interesting to see how much panic stations the immune Ricky has to his coaching job. Anyway.
Well, he's immune from losing his job.
Job for life. What that means, I don't know. Rabbitohs and Storm is the main event Friday night. This should be a cracker. I don't know if it necessarily is, but be a good game of footy nonetheless. For the Storm, they travelling away have Eisenhuth coming onto the bench in place of Tyron Wishart. Pezzett keeps the 7 jersey. Hamlin Selly back for the Bunnies after his 11-day stand down. Ben Lovett goes back, and Alex Johnston is fine to play. You said they were cruising. I'm saying they still weren't that impressive, the Storm, last week. No. I think Manly and Melbourne had a war. They've got a shortish turnaround, but in this day and age, they'll be right. I'm thinking South's put in a statement here and come out, and their forwards especially get a chance to show what they've got and own some of these guys. I'm still saying 1 to 12 because it's, It's that old thing with Melbourne. It's like if they didn't have Harry and they didn't have Munster, you wouldn't tip them, but they do. Yeah. So you've got
they're going to provide a try or two, probably each, and
So South's 1-12. I'm going to say man of the match, Damien Cook, who's a point to prove against the Australian hooker here, doing a man of work this year, and I think on the back of his forwards doing their job will look impressive. First try scorer. Well, I'm not going to go past. I'm not going to have this. AJ's going to wander in past Coates out there. What are you thinking?
Very similar. I was and ahhing a little bit, but then I just realised that Melbourne's forward pack is nothing like it has been previously. They've been shown up.
Let's be realistic. I don't think they were that impressed against the Tigers, and in all year they haven't been.
They've been shown up pretty much every game in the middle of the field, apart from when Nelson decided to carry a whole heap of that forward pack on his own back, and he's not there. So this South pack, even when undermanned, have been grinding. They've got Sele back again, as you mentioned, this week, and I think they'll be even stronger again through the middle of the field. They may have a touch of lethargy in them just from the bash and barge that they had to go through against Manly last week, but I think the middles will be the key to this game. I've got Cook being man of the match again. I tipped him last week and he wasn't far off, and I think he may be pretty close again this week. So he's just been getting out and creating. While he hasn't been running through the line, he's been causing all sorts of problems in and before the line when he gets out of dummy half, and it's creating opportunities for the men around him. And I think Murray may benefit from that opportunity, being the first try scorer in and around the post at the start of the game. And Souths to win 1-12.
The penny just dropped. The first try. I've been with him all year.
Tom Burgess.
If you get 80s for Tommy Boy in this game, maybe it's a game. I'll
you just put $1 on him for the entire year. If he does it once, you're fine. You're good.
All right.
You've tripled your money and you're happy.
Super Saturday kicks off at Glenwilla Oval at Mudgee. Someone's asked me what this Mudgee game was this week. Glenwilla Oval, Mudgee, Manly and the Knights. Morgan Harper, our good friend's back for Cooler, who's out having his knee fixed up. Lockie Croker's back as well. And Carl Lawton goes out of the team, which is perhaps a bit rough, to be honest.
To go right out of the 22, yeah, that is a bit.
Oh, he's on the extended bench.
Extended bench, but
out
of the 17s, a bit
Weeks,
rough.
Travojevic, Bullimore, Kepi is their bench. The Knights welcome back. Where did I just go here? Knights welcome back. Jack Johns comes in for Kurt Mann, who has the 11-day stand down, and that's about it. Which means Jack Johns plays 13. Look, Knights have tried really hard this year, but Brisbane are coming. Not Brisbane.
Manly.
Manly are coming off an outstanding performance against a top 4 team, and they're going to come here and play very well. I think Newcastle will bust their ass and try very hard. So I'm going to still stick to 1-12. I'm going to say man of the match, DC again. It turns out he's a very good halfback. So
apparently
he's been close to the best player each and every game, even when he hasn't been recognised in that way. First try scorer, I'm going to actually go with Olakuatu off a DCE chip across field again, getting over the top of one of those back rows out wide. Scared that the back end of this could blow out with Turbo getting involved, and once they start the footwork from the outside back starting involved here, they might tire. But they've been good so far, so I'm going to trust them again to not get flogged.
Yeah, I'm very similar. Was all set up to go 13 plus, but I've stuck to the 1-12 for Manly. I do have concerns that every time Newcastle have really been tested in the middle of the field, they haven't really passed the test. I know that they were decent against Canberra, but most of that came from their outside backs and scooting around and scoring points out wide. And I don't think they'll get the luxury of doing that against this Manly side, where I think they'll shut them down the majority of the time, except for maybe if they get 1 or 2 past our old mate Harper there out in the centres.
But Tigers probably beat him in the middle of the field and still lost. Canberra are terrible, so
they matched them, but their outside defence was disgusting.
Yeah, so it's like all of a sudden you go.
Yeah, so and what Manly have been doing, especially on the defensive side of the ball in the middle of the field, they've been crushing blokes that have been running through the middle of the field, and I think they will stop. They'll stop these Newcastle forwards pretty quickly, and from what I've noticed, a lot of them don't want to back up again after they've been belted a couple of times and keep coming through the middle. So, and I think if they're going to beat Manly, they're going to have to. So, Manly 1-12, 13. Yeah, we'll go 1-12. DCE man of the match. I'm with you. His kicking game's been fantastic, and I think he'll get the time and space in this one to put blokes into holes all over the place, and could end up blowing out to quite a big score. But I'll stick with the 1-12, and I'm going to go Garrick down the left hand side. Tommy chiming in, and that finishing ball to Garrick for the first try scorer on the left edge.
Does seem particularly obvious, doesn't it? The 5:30 game is the Dragons hosting the Dolphins again away. Dragons, welcome back, Jack. Oh no, he's not. I thought DeBellin was back. No, he's not. DeBellin not named. No,
Bird's back into the side.
I'd read he's back. Bird is back.
But he was named at 13 last week.
Yeah,
too,
Murdoch, Masilla, Molo. So Zane Musgrove comes onto the bench. Last week they did a swap. Milford goes to halfback for Katoa to come back in from his elbow injury. Jack Bostock, who I had a rap on in a similar vein to the Warbrick rap, comes in to make his NRL debut. He's going to have 3 weeks, so he should make money. He's going to have 3 or 4 weeks, so he should make money at time if you do want a cheapie.
Cheap fella too, yeah.
And more importantly, Marshall King comes back, and Mason T goes back to the bench, as does Herman SASA back on the bench. What are you thinking?
I know the Dragons clocked off for a good part of last week, so they should be fresh coming into this one, but I can't tip the Dragons at the moment. I think this forward pack from the Dolphins will be too strong, especially for this Dragons pack, who's probably one of the weaker ones in the competition. Laurie and Sewer will aim up as they have done for the majority of the year, but I think there'll be a few holes in and around that, around the play the ball, which Jeremy Marshall King will jump all over and give time and space to. I'm going to go with young Katoa here. I think he's going to play the middle of the field. I think he's been named at 6, but I think he'll play closer to the ruck, and Milford will play on the edges.
He's a 7, isn't he?
So I think Milford will play that little bit wider, and I think it'll be Katoa that will be the one that orchestrates the win for the Dolphins. I'm going to go with him, man of the match, but I am going to go with the Dragons to score first with Ravalawa just crashing over in the corner.
Yep. Okay, cool. I'm going to go. I can't tip a team coming out of the game of the year against the Dragons. Can't tip the Dragons against a team coming out of the game of the year against the future premiers.
Future premiers.
So the Dolphins are dropping in grade here to have a run, but I am terrified of what their halves do or don't offer. We'll learn a lot this week. It could be the cliff might be approaching, but I think they're going to be fine this week because they're doing a lot of that on the back of everyone else's work. Their outside backs have too much strike power for what's been dished up by the Dragons, and their forwards will just munch them down. Well,
the matchup in the forwards is where they've played the Dolphins have played all their footy this year through the middle, and then occasionally cashing in and out wide.
So for man of the match, Tom Gilbert, he'll overperform again. He'll bust his ass. I can't imagine him not getting a point or two here when we come out to dish it out. And the first try scorer, I'm going to go with Branko Lee, just because I haven't.
Yeah, nice.
But a bit of footwork, getting around Sawley, and them all being despondent for ages. Here we get to this game here. Brisbane hosts the West Tigers at Suncorp. Brisbane
13 plus.
1-17. Tigers 1-7. Tigers add Jake Simkin to the bench.
Right.
Justin Matamua to the bench, which is a good in. Not for this game, but a good in. He's got something. And Stafford Toa to the bench. So I imagine that means that Capel will spend some time.
Toa's got to play. So
Capel, I think could almost suggest that if he doesn't start, that Capel is going to spend a lot of time in the back row, and Toa might even play some back row.
Toa either has to play, or I can't see Toa.
It's a bizarre thing, but Matamua has got some ability, and Polo's got ability as well. But
you got Matamua and Simpkins basically filling the same position, are they not?
Yes. Matamua's a back rower. Create a lock. So Pole, his backing kids. Look, they're getting kids involved, getting some game time. What's it mean when you get destroyed by Brisbane? Don't know, but we'll find out. We'll find out.
We will.
What do you think?
I'm going Broncos 13 plus. I'm going for the triple man of the match with Payne Haas. I think we've tipped him last 2 games for man of the match, and I can't see anything changing. And I don't know who's going to stop him. Clemmer's going to probably stand up and try and have a crack, but I can't see him controlling Payne Haas by the end of this game. So
No.
I'm going to go Payne Haas man of the match, and I'm going to go Tony Staggs first try out on the right-hand side. Yeah,
centres historically have a good time raping our outside backs. So I'll go the other way. Go Herbie Farnworth first try. Man of the match, Reece Walsh. I think he's going to just have the time of his life.
He probably could.
Because there's the Tigers don't have a kick chase. So he's going to just have so much time to get up and going. Yeah. There's no intensity through the middle, so he'll just pick it and choose. And
their outside backs generally hold. Backs, they don't
just stand back
come
and
off the line.
And go, oh, fuck, he's around
or they
now.
do come off the line way too quickly.
There we go. So Reece Walsh, he'll have a couple of try assists. He'll have a try, and he'll tear these blokes apart. He'll be captain of my Supercoach team this week. So that all being said, Brisbane by an innings and 112 runs. You would like to just see something. But anyway, Sharks and Warriors in a tremendous kickoff to Sunday Arvo at PointsBet with the Sharks welcoming back Braden Trimble, who joins it. Braden Trendle even. Don't pull me up on that, Beaver. But back on after his ankle injury. Kafusi is still out, but the starting lineup is the same. Tohu Harris has been named for the Warriors. And Tamari Martin does get sat out from Volkman coming into the team.
It's Kafusi out, is he?
Kafusi doesn't play for these teams.
Oregon does. You just
said
Oregon was out.
Oregon is. Sorry,
he
failed his HIA last week.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, fair enough.
Yeah, I was thinking the other one. The Wade Egan's back too. That's nice.
It does help the Warriors.
Cracker, I think this will be a ripper game. I really do. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think it'll be very close for probably the first half and just afterwards. But I expect the Sharks, just to me, seem to have more points in them than just about any team in the competition. To be honest, if they get it right, there's not many teams that are going to match them.
Nico's as big a talisman as any other
But you even saw it with Trindle there. Even when Nico wasn't there, they were still putting on 20.
Having Nico on the field when I say talisman, he's their beacon. That
he's the guy that
when he's on
follows.
The field, everyone goes,
absolutely.
Here we are.
We're going to be that
and
bit better.
I think he's now almost more important than, I don't want to say Cleary, but he's in that category.
He's up there, yeah, absolutely.
Category, Latrell.
But even with Trindle, they were putting 20 points on most teams. So you add another 10 on top of that.
Yeah.
I think they got 30 points in them pretty much every game for the rest of the year, and I can't see the Warriors putting on 30 against the Sharks. We're going to go Sharks 13 plus. We'll go Hines, double down for the man of the match, and Mulatalo is probably a pretty safe bet. If you put a bet on him every week, you'd probably end up in front by the end of the year, I would imagine. So
I feel like Nico's going to be getting man of the match every game the Sharks play to Origin, and there'll be this massive groundswell of why the fuck isn't he in the Origin team until he is. So he gets 3 points from me. I'm going to go 1-12 because I don't think they're going to fold the Warriors, and I think
they won't.
They will shut down some of that, the soft hole running that the back rows do. Not soft, but
I think they've got a few issues right on the edge. They get a bit confused in their defence.
Yeah. This is a great test because if they hold up, if this is a similar game to the Dolphins Brisbane game, then you can go, wow, Warriors are here. Look at this, how good.
Absolutely.
First try scorer. That all being said, I'm going to go with Britain to punch that hole. 1-12, Britain, Nico. Sounds like what we usually expect out of the Sharks, doesn't it? And we're going to wrap up at a call with the Dogs hosting the Cowboys in. What is happening over there?
A hip-hop countdown on the TV, and we've got a few people singing.
Josh Reynolds is back. He's on the bench, coming in for New Brown. Pele comes back in for Jaden Tanner to the reserves. For the Cowboys, they lose Tuolungi, which gets Shibasaki in. I hate to be mean, but that's a downgrade. Peter Hiku's back, though, so that's there. And Brendan Elliott comes onto the wing. Lukey gets the start. It was pretty good last week. And Mitch Dunn comes off the bench. And Riley Price is named on the bench, son of one of the greats, Stephen Price, Queensland. Front row, Steve
Dragons
Price.
coach.
Yeah. No, the other one.
Oh, the other one.
The good one. No, Steve Price did go and be a good coach somewhere else, but no, Steve Price, Petro's partner in crime for Queensland forever.
Dragons, Warriors, yeah.
Bulldogs.
He ended up at the Warriors, I'm pretty sure, didn't he?
No, I think you find. I think it's Bulldogs.
Anyway, doesn't matter.
I'm glad you think of the right bloke. Good work.
Yeah.
But no, Bulldogs and. He played for the Bulldogs. Let's move. He captained the Bulldogs to the 02 Premiership.
Yeah. I got you now.
Yeah. So it's all right. You with me? Right.
I'm with you.
Anyway, it's his son.
Yeah.
He's playing. That's
Good.
nice, isn't it?
Hopefully he has a ripper.
Zach Laybutt on the extended bench. I assume he's
Kyle's brother.
How about that? Anyway, here we are. What do we think about this game, Bun?
I don't really trust either of them. Like I said about the Cowboys and the Titans game last week, to be honest. Dogs at their best probably could win it, but I just think the Cowboys just got a little bit more class in their halves, to be honest. The blokes that have been playing together for a little bit longer. Chad was quite good with his ball playing last week, and Dearden was good with his ball running, so I expect that to continue, and that just create more points than what the Bulldogs will. But Dearden is man of the match. I've been on his back for since the start of the year, and he kicked off a little bit last week, and I expect it. If you just watch, I've been watching him pretty closely because I did tip him to be the Dalian player.
Yeah.
And he's gone so close to breaking the line open and setting up tries all season. Yeah. It just hasn't happened. And there's going to be a game where it happens, and it could possibly be this one. So I've got Cowboys 1-12, Dearden man of the match. I'm going to go first try scorer Reece Robson with a little dash out of dummy half.
Beauty. I have grave concerns with any first-grade team that turns up with a bench of Reynolds, Waddell, Pele, Ockenbaugh.
Yes.
And I think most Bulldogs fans would agree with me. Yeah. I think they'll try very hard, and I think it'll be the same as last week, where they'll drag him down, they'll be in and about it, it'll be good, and we'll sit here next week and go, oh, well, Cowboys should have won by 12 or 14 or 16, but they won by 8, so or by whatever. So I'm going to say Cowboys 1-12. They're going to start getting their shit back together here, so I sort of agree with you. Dearden's good. We've doubled down a lot tonight, which is rare for us.
It's unusual.
Dearden seems to be the beacon in this thing. He's a half they've got that's the game breaker. And first try scorer, I'm going to go with Peter Hiku from... actually, no, I'm not, because I think actually have too much respect for their outside backs defence. Elliott coming there. So I'm actually going to think it's to drive through the middle. Well, let's go with... Cohen Hess as a first try scorer for the Gump. Probably 80-1 there. You can go find it.
Nice. I like it.
Gump would be listening and crying out. We'll get the Gump back at some point, by the way. But that is it. That's our look through round 5 of National Rugby League. You right to play one?
Absolutely.
Lovely. Anything after all we talked about? Anything Supercoach caught your eye?
No, not particularly, mate. To be honest, I don't really look at the Supercoach until... at least Wednesday afternoon, Thursday morning, because it just does too much to my head. And even the team list, half of them are bullshit as well, so it makes it very difficult, to be honest. We mentioned earlier there's a few young guys coming through.
If you've gone and got a Panthers player early and you're having doubts, just give them a week.
Yeah.
That'll be the shout
Hoskins for me is probably
and Hoskins
a decent pickup.
458.
You've got another week before his price will change, so you can hold out that week. But as we mentioned, there's a good chance that they may just absolutely pick this outside backs of the Raiders apart, and he'll probably be involved in that on the left-hand side with Luai. So,
no, fair dues. Disaster class. Oliver
has gone back to back.
Ollie Shitbags has managed to rack up a... What's he doing here?
We had a 1-12 bet on Parramatta at $4.50, and he had his whole $50 on it. So he went and got $225 to add to his $160 bank that he banked the week before, backing the Titans 1-12, and is now in a positive of $385 of this year.
Bloody hell. There he is. Good on him. I'm going to play a straight bat this week. I'm going to reassess.
Daggy's starting off a minus $60 base this week after losing $50 last week, and I've gone from a positive 50 back to square starting this week.
I'm just going to go with the Roosters minus a line, which is 5.5, South minus a line, which is 4.5, and Dolphins plus the line somehow against the Dragons. those three.
What was their line? 2?
2.5, which seems a bit bizarre to me. But anyway, it exists. I can get $7 for that. So
wow.
50 down the line for that. I think it's a lovely straight drive.
Absolutely, that's a nice
for
bet.
that. What are you thinking?
I'm going to have $20 on that Butcher to score the first try. As I said, I think he's going to have a really big game in this one, and they may go to him early for the first try for the Roosters. And then I'm going to have a head-to-head bet with Penrith, Manly, the Dolphins, Broncos, and Sharks. That'll get you $4.50. I'm going to have $30 on that.
Oh, I think that sounds pretty good too. All right, what's got you frothing?
Not much, to be honest.
Cool.
I'm pretty frothed out. I'm pretty much
frothed
done.
Out.
What do you got?
I was hoping you'd say something. What I have...
Fill some gaps. I miss the frothing every week. It's the one thing that I don't.
I just go to I have a salute and a slap, but fuck. What's your frothing? I want to see some good play. I want to see some quality fullback step up. I want to see the best of Tommy this week against Newcastle, and I want to see against best of Latrell coming into that Melbourne game. Hopefully he can step up and...
I'm not sure you're going to see the best out of Latrell until
I don't know
close to Origin time.
I think we might not see him till Origin. He's very much fucking A-grade Latrell now. He's not fired up. You got something for us?
Yeah, I'm looking at the hookers, to be honest. The Dolphins, Jeremy Marshall-King's return, and Reece Robson out of the Cowboys game. I think they both will have very big parts to play in both of their teams winning, and I think if they don't get man of the match, they'll both be very close to it. I can see them absolutely you can chuck in Damien Cook there as well, to be honest.
Well, he's got all to play for because he's now the New South Wales hooker.
So I think those three are going to have a really big weekend, and you're going to see a couple of rucks exposed badly with the likes of Jeremy Marshall-King, Robson, and Damien Cook just scheming in and around the play the ball. So.
Beautiful. Very good. It's been a pleasure.
It has.
3 hours in, looking into your eyes, David. It's lovely.
Once again.
Highlight of my week, as always. So we'll be back to this again next Tuesday-ish night, and somewhere around here. And we'll talk about all again.
Make it up as we go.
Check out, buy some hats, buy some gear, subscribe to all the good places, and see you all soon. Bye-bye.